The real great Destiny Impulse Gundam is one that I slept on for far too long. It's been hanging out on my shelf for quite a while, and I just didn't build it really for one reason and one reason only. It says Real Great Destiny on it. Now, if you think of the Real Grade Destiny kit, it's an absolute looker, but it suffers so badly from real grade, or should I say, early real grade syndrome, which means it tends to fall apart after a while and become unposable. And that actually blinded me to the fact that this says on the box, Real Grade Impulse as well, which is one of the greatest real grade kits around. It's phenomenal. So if you take one thing from this review away, and one thing only, it's the fact that this is more real grade Impulse than it is real grade Destiny, because this is 0% real grade Destiny. Yes, the wings that are on this kit aren't just transplanted from the OG Destiny kit, they're new for this kit, completely and utterly redesigned. So this is a phenomenal kit, and one that I highly recommend. As you can tell from that monochromatic box, this is a premium Bandai exclusive kit, so if you're looking to get one of these, you can get yours where I got mine, and that is through BUYEE. So if you're looking for anything that is hard to find, rare or premium Bandai, you will find it there. And speaking of which, due to unpopular demand, I won't be actually doing a review of this kit right here. This is the High Grade Strike Dagger, another fantastic kit in a different kind of way. It's a simple yet perfect grunt. It's heavily based on the High Grade Dagger L, which is a full release, one I super recommend as well, but it does have some new parts to make it function with some strike stuff, including striker packs, and I think up in the shoulders too, as the runners are from the Build Strike Gundam. But yeah, we're not talking about that today, we're talking about that real great Destiny Impulse, so let's jump right into the aesthetics. So straight away when I saw this kit, the first thing that hit me when it was just out of box built is purple. There is so much purple going on here. I throw around the word unique quite a bit, but this truly is one unique looking Gundam. I've never seen one quite like this. The purple in itself is over the top and crazy, but also the distribution of color is really nice. We've got a combination of the elongated, curvy, yet blocky silhouette of the fantastic real grade Force Impulse, but now we've got it framed with those angelic Destiny wings, redesigned for this kit entirely with some new weaponry. This thing has blown me away. Now I will mention when it comes to the plastics in here, we've got the two tones of white, real grade style, the two tones of purple, that's also real grade style, and on top of that then we've got other colors including grey, a kind of lavendery purple, and some yellow to top it off, which really does give it a bit of a 70s vibe. Now one thing I will mention is, the purple on this is overkill. Out of box it's absolutely overkill and blows out all of the detail entirely, so I highly recommend panel lining this kit. Now I didn't panel line the whole thing, I just panel lined its head, its shoulders, its abdomen, its crotch, just pretty much everything towards the front. I did not panel line the wings, and as you can see, most of the time the detail is lost entirely. I use a lot of harsh light from the side to try and bring it out a little bit more, like what you're seeing right here, but in reality it is lost in there, so I do recommend panel lining, and I panel lined using the flow type panel liners by, well, Bandai themselves, or CGI Kraos, or whatever the company is. In regard to stickers with this kit, it's pretty much fully color accurate and beautiful at that, once again with some panel lining. But the stickers that are in here are the typical real grade, shiny stickers that add a nice extra element. These are just chromed out stickers that go on the inner frame here and there, and on the sides of the legs, and just look pretty cool. These are the only actual color correcting, if you'd even call it that, stickers in here, besides the eyes and the head cameras. On top of that, throwing the actual premium into premium Bandai, we do get some water slide decals as well. These are very nice, and once again, highly recommend popping them on, because I just threw a few on just to test them out on the wings and on the shoulders, and these also break up that really strong saturated purple and add a nice cool new element. It looks so much more premium, and I do recommend firing these on. Panel lined and decaled will fight the saturation, which is very C Destiny really. And speaking of unique colors, there's that high grade strike dagger again. This is all kind of cool off colors. They're all really, well, cool. The red is almost drained of color in a interesting kind of way. The white has a bluish grayish hint to it, and overall this is a beautiful cool take on the dagger and the strike. Highly recommend. Flying on back now to the Destiny, I almost forgot one of the most interesting aspects. We've got 2 splashes of color on the gauntlets, which is a, well, glittery metallic cyan that pops against the purple entirely. Now there's a lot of crazy colors on this that work really well, and once again with recommendations, I would say there's a bit of a gloss to the wings and around all that sort of stuff, so a matte top coat would definitely tidy this up too. It's got that real Rosen Zulu kind of purple. But yeah, on the whole, this is so ridiculously mesmerizing to look at. I've never really seen anything like it before. It's 100% definitely the Force Impulse Gundam, but this color scheme is crazy. Now, I don't know if we're going to get the Impulse Blanche, but I have the Impulse Blanche Master Grade, and I don't really like the way its backpack is a separate unit that doesn't really gel together with the Force Impulse. This does. I never got the Master Grade version, but I am digging this particular mobile suit a lot. I will mention that I did take off a lot of the weaponry round back just for, well, looking at the mobile suit itself. We'll get to that extremely soon, just so you can kind of see what's going on here. This backpack is a silhouette pack, so it will work with the Force Impulse and the Sword Impulse Gundam, both of which I've done reviews of, so if you want to check those out. But what can I say? The impulses, the real great impulses, so good. And next up there, aesthetically, there's that full 360-degree spin, so you can see the entire silhouette of this for yourself. Like I mentioned, it's the perfect mix of Destiny and Impulse. The Impulse has some really blocky, curvy aspects to it, really long legs, that overall over-the-top Destiny look, and it just matches so well with these wings. This looks so cool. It's classic Gundam, while at the same time, over-the-top, ridiculous Seed. Highly recommend. So now jumping into the accessories, and what can I say, when it comes to Seed kits, they're always armed to the teeth, and that goes double right here for the Destiny Impulse. We get pretty much all of what we would have seen with the Force Impulse. You don't see the shield right here, but the shield is 100% included in red like so. So this won't be mentioned at all, but it is on the runners if you want to build it. So yeah, we get giant swords and giant guns, Destiny style. We get some beam boomerangs, we get some shield, a typical beam rifle, the armor schneiders or whatever they're called with a Impulse Gundam, and we've got a bunch of stuff we're using with the silhouette flyer that is inside of this. Now I will mention, I will not be talking about this in this review because we've seen it before. It's the exact same one we would have seen with the Force Impulse Gundam, so if you want to see more details about that particular unit, you can check out that review. We also have a bunch of hands in here as well as a pilot, which as far as I know is not the correct pilot, just left over from the Impulse. Anyway, let's check this stuff out. So the first of the weapons that we have in here is the beam rifle. This is essentially the same as what we would have seen before with the Force Impulse Gundam, moving handles side to side up front. So attaching this is super simple. You just attach this into one of the trigger finger holding hands. We've got a left and a right, so you can use either or. This is a sandwich style hold, so it just pops onto a tab like that, and then you just close it all up. This pops into the wrist, nice and solid, and that is what it looks like equipped. I'll also mention, I almost forgot, this also does have a moving sight up top as well. When this is not in use, you can just flip out this little bit on the side, and this can be stored on the butt flap, just like so. Nice and secure, and out of the way. The Impulse is a Gundam that's always ready for a good old mobile suit street fight with a pair of switchblades in its pockets. These attach in a similar way to the beam rifle. Instead of using trigger finger holding hands, you use standard holding hands. Sandwich attachment, once again, that's what they look like in the hand. That's what they look like being held by the Impulse itself. And when these are not in use, just fold them up and pop them into the side skirting armor, nice and clean. Just like so. So now getting on to some weapons that are unique to the Destiny Impulse. So these are not like the Destiny's cannons. These are, well, somewhat different. These have a telescopic barrel, which gives them their name, the telescopic beam cannons. We also have a handle down below which pulls out just like so, a nice folding action, and we've got 2 of these. So these can be used in a multitude of ways. First off is like a regular beam rifle. Pop them into the same hand we would have held the beam rifle in before. By the way, I will mention that you can do this in both. I just did it in the one, and that right there is what it looks like, holding on nice and secure and absolutely massive. But if you want more of a hands-free option, these can be put onto the backpack just like so, onto these articulated arms. These attach in such a cool way, especially compared to the Destiny. These are flush to the parts that they attach to, which almost makes them look like they're just attached to its back. So that is a nice design. These can either be brought up over the shoulders like so to be fired over the shoulders, or brought down underneath the waist, just like so, to be fired from below. Once again, both of these look absolutely fantastic and gel so well with those wings. I will mention, you can also hold these by the handle while they're underneath, but I didn't do that. But yeah, whatever way you pose these things, they look absolutely phenomenal. They're big, seamless, and awesome. So nothing goes quite with a pair of big old guns like a pair of big old swords. So these are the exact same ones we would have seen with the Sword Impulse Gundam. These are awesome. These can have no beam for no beam, or have the beam attached for having that crazy business end. These can also be attached bottom to bottom, just like so, in that absolutely ridiculous style that you only really see in Seed. This is a ridiculously sized sword right here. So these attach in the exact same way as we saw with the knife a little while ago, that is with the holding hands. These can lock in to a slot like so, so they won't slip in the hands at all when they're popped into the hand. This kit is more than strong enough to hold onto them, and that right there is what it looks like. So it's always important that a kit can hold onto its big sword, that it doesn't just flop around, and there's no flopping here. Posing this with the sword is very easy. I just did this in 2 seconds while at full length, arm reaching past the camera, and it just works out so well. It's a nice kit, fluid movement, and holds onto the swords ever so nicely. When they're not in use, as you'd expect, like you've been seeing so far throughout the review, these can be attached onto the Destiny style wings around back. This just pops on like so, a little simpler than what we saw with the big old cannons, and this can only kind of rotate with the wing. It can't actually move on its own, but still looking very nice. So next up here, and actually coming to the end of this thing's ridiculous amount of equipment, we've got a energy shield or a beam shield in a nice reflective sky blue color. It also seems to have a little bit of a coating on it, which gives it an almost kind of holographic finish. Another very typical bit of Seed equipment right here. To use this, just pop off this little blue piece off the back of the gauntlet, pop on the shield onto that blue piece, and then pop it all back onto the arm like so. Easy to pose. Once again, we've got full rotating forearms, so that does mean you can get it wherever that you want it, and it does look nice and catches the light beautifully. Another Seed Destiny staple right here. This is a beam boomerang, and boy does this look ridiculously fun. So this is a thrown weapon. Attaching the beam boomerangs into the hands, once again, is the same as everything we've seen so far. So it's a sandwich attachment with a peg in the hand, so it holds on perfectly. Attaching it onto the wrist is the same as we saw before, and this just looks so fun. Beam boomerangs are one of my all-time favorite Seed or Seed Destiny weapons because they're just ridiculously silly. If the beam isn't big enough for you, you can pop on this larger beam, so this can be used as a beam saber because this kit doesn't come with any beam sabers. And when you want to store these, you can just pop off the beams like so, and these store on these pivoting segments on the rear of the forearms. These can be attached on while the shield is attached, which is very nice, pretty much with all of the other weapons too. And these add a really nice element to the arms. This is much cooler than the standard Destiny's shoulder pointies. Now we've got some cool arm pointies instead. Very nice. But yeah, what can I say? That right there is it for the review. Everything about this kit is pretty much something we've seen before. If you want to know about the articulation on this, just check out the Force Impulse Gundam review. This is a posing machine. It's very nice. The only thing that kind of pops off occasionally is the forearms. They're not necessarily loose, they can just kind of rotate their way off, but besides that, it poses up perfectly. The wings, like you've seen, they open up, they move backwards. They do everything Destiny's wings would have done, but they're nice and solid on this kit, and you can swap them to any other version of the Impulse that is out there. Well, real grade wise. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Highly recommend this kit. I'll throw a link down there in the description. As always, make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I will see you next time. Once again, this video right here, and none of these videos would be possible without each and every single one of you guys who watches my videos, and special thanks to those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon and here on the channel memberships, including 10 Soldier YT, Caleb Engelhart, Dashil Marmion, Go Little Rockstar, Joe, Lauren Seahack, Org59061, and Van Fawn.